right. Hello, everybody. Hi, Patrick. Patrick One Hekar. That's a cool name. Nice that you like fantasy, because that's what we are gonna do. All right, so welcome everybody. Let's see how it goes today. You might notice that on my back, things are starting to be a little bit messy. That's because I'm in the middle of, well, not in the middle yet, but I'm gonna start a renovation at my place. So I'm taking away lots of things everywhere. And next week, probably I will be streaming from another place, another room, because I have to take everything from the my apartment to make the renovation. So it's going to be pretty messy and stressing. But yeah, so right now on my on my office room studio, it's all filled with boxes, doors, and parts of furniture and things like that. So yeah. Richard, hello, welcome back, man. Very nice to see you here. How are you doing? Dislocated Design, hello, man. Thank you for joining in once again. And yeah, very happy to have you here as well. And you too, Cantabrian, hello. How are you? How are you guys? I hope that you had a good week so far. Also, yeah, before we get started, I managed to finish the Tech Priest from 40k, so it's nothing more advanced than what we had before. There's a little things there, but at the same time, I just wanted to leave it kind of rough and painterly, so I haven't gone into lots of details and the rendering and things like that. So yep, so it is done. Yay! Well, wait, just a round of applause. Yeah. Thank you. Well, I wouldn't have done it without you guys. So Chris Shepard, hello, welcome to the stream. How are you? Patrick one Hekar, how to clear fundamentals. Yes, we're gonna talk a little bit about that during the stream, since I'm gonna, well, I managed to spend half an hour before the stream with it, so I'm kind of cheating in that sense. But yeah, we will take it from there. Sketching and looking for a cool composition for the new illustration and working with values directly. So yeah, we're all gonna talk a lot about this. Pablo Vélez, una maravilla verte trabajar, Miguel. Well, muchas gracias. Un honor. Muchas gracias y bienvenido. Cantabrian. No, actually, I haven't settled about a name. Maybe I should just add here just so I don't forget about it. But oh man, I can't remember. We said something about Herald as a title. Herald. I know it would be nice to add some Greek letter. I don't know, like Omicron, for example. And some numbers, I guess. Some Arab numbers. Let's say 7 B Omicron. I don't know. All right, yeah, let's do that. Dislocated design. Yeah, I prefer if you can give me a name so you contribute a little bit into it. So raw is raw. What is that? Is that a Greek letter and I'm just a retard and I cannot and I don't know about it, or herald of he should. I'm always thought that he would be a going with some type of diplomatic envoy from a Forge world or something like that. Let's see. I kind of like also Retricon. Huh. Oh man. Vox Numenitor. I like that one. Okay, let's see. I will put some of these and so I don't get stuck during the stream with these and we can focus into painting. But okay, so I like Retricon, so I don't have to go later on fishing on the stream chat. I like a lot the Vox Numeritor. And okay, so if we put right, so maybe Vox Numeritor, Retricon, 27. Oh, we can put it in Roman numbers then. 27 5 Lucason, thanks for the follow. Thank you and welcome to the stream. Okay, so Vox Numerator Retricon 27 5 02. There you go. And then Herald of the something that I can come up later on. Herald of something. All right. So yeah, well, anyway. So thanks a lot for the contributions, for the ideas. I think they are pretty nice. Vox Numerator, I actually like that. It could be... Yeah, we'll have to think a little bit about that. Maybe just to write some very, very short backstory or introduction for him, but super like a few sentences or something like that would be nice. But all right, so we are done with Mixter Vox Numerator Retricon 27502. Herald of what is this world? Riza, right? Or Risa or Ritha. Like this super big forge world that is like second after Mars, right? And you know what? Now I'm remembering and totally forgot about it. I'm not gonna do it during the stream, perhaps because I want to focus on the other thing. But I was thinking to put some kind of hologram of some kind here, as it is projected from the hand. Something of that kind, but I will do that later at some point. All right, so I will put here this just so I don't forget about it. Bleep, 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 bleep. It's a heart. It's projecting a heart, so I don't forget about it. All right, so let's move on. Let me just catch up with the chat. Sorry, because I got stuck with all of these and yeah. Richard, so I'm pretty fine. Like I was saying, I'm in the middle of making some renovations at my place, so it's pretty mad at the moment, and it will be very, very, very much more in the coming weeks. So I will be changing to another room for streaming, well, and of course working and all of that. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, pretty good. Akash, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Lucius, thank you. And welcome to the stream. Glad to see you back. Oh, Master of Canticles. Yeah, I remember you, Dislocated Design. You mentioned it last stream, right? Something like that. I like that as well. Master of Canticles. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe his title is like huge with all these type of things. Um, Pablo Velez, a question about your Primarchs. Um, I was really impacted about those. The way you portrait every Primarch, their psyche, and their look, for me was a blast. How do you approach something like this? Um, well, in that case, it's was kind of pretty straightforward. So it was. I started it like a very specific experiment or exercise for myself for doing it a portrait in a very short time. Just gave me a limit of 1 hour, and then I decided to take as a subject the Primarchs, and then from the very beginning I knew, okay, so I want to focus in a more humane aspect of them. They are always portrayed as these mythical demigods and mighty, you know, all over the top. And I like that quite a lot, but I always been very attracted to the more human side of them, with their faults and yeah, all these type of things. So I wanted to focus on that part. So it was more about going one by one and trying to come up with what are their more significant psychological traits, and then trying to reflect that on the portrait in the more realistic and human way as possible. So yeah. But I'm very happy to hear that you like them. I'm. I know I could have done a better job, but I know at the same time that that was mainly because of the time limitation. So it was more of an exercise more than trying to do a proper depiction. So even though some of them I'm very happy with how they end up, some others I'm not so much, and I would probably do them very differently than what I did by then. But Patrick One Hekar, how many years do you work as a professional concept artist? Well, it's gonna make soon 20 years. William, nice hat. Thank you. Thanks. Was actually a present from my father. So Kuso-son, your work is really cool. I would love to work for games too. Nice. Well, thanks a lot and nice. So go for it. May I ask, doing exactly what for games? Because I mean, doing video games is a very big field and very complicated. So you have so many different type of disciplines. So is it going to be more art oriented or game design or more on the technology side, so programming and things like that? Yeah, and that's like the more wider and simplest division, because then if you jump into them, each one of those major disciplines, they have so many specializations and stuff like that. So what would you like to do? Patrick, thank you. um Krum Krum, hello. Welcome to the stream. How are you? Krum Krum, I like that name. Kabeski, hello, welcome back. Lucius, hello. Let's see. iComics, hello, and thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Mr. Creep, hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream. All right, so let's move on. I have these small tweaks to do for the character, but he's mainly done. So it's time to move on. So let's save and bye-bye. Next. So for today, I wanted to do something a little bit different because so far we've been focusing a lot in doing some illustration character illustrations and focusing a lot into character design and stuff like that. So even though today for this piece also I want to do, focusing mainly on a character, but I thought it would be nice to do a proper illustration. And to do it from the very, very start, as I mentioned before, I had some half an hour, more or less 40 minutes before the stream to start with it. So this is the result of it so far. And I'm gonna give you a little bit of context of what I want to do and what is the process and how I'm gonna go for it. So first, a little bit of context. The subject I want this illustration to be about, or the main character, is the Barbarian. So for all of you that don't know about it, the Barbarian, it's a character that I, of course, is that I invented, even though it's nothing. Yeah, it's the Barbarian. It's like, yeah, nothing new under the sun. All right, so it's not very original, but I didn't care about that. I created this character when I started my account on Instagram when I had 0 followers. So I had this idea that every single time that I cannot reach a certain number of followers, I would use this character to kind of represent reaching that number of followers. So I thought that I was going to use a character, and this character was going to be evolving through the growth of my Instagram account. And for that, I decided to use some kind of fantasy barbarian, like Conan. I'm a huge fan of Conan, of the character. So I thought, like, yeah, let's use a barbarian, which well, not very how do you say, with not a lot of imagination, I call him the Barbarian. So yeah. So it started this way. So he started with 500 followers. So this is the first time I draw him, and as you can see, he was very, very much starting out. So he was literally naked, and he got in some kind of quest this magic sword with the power of the 500 followers. Okay, so this was the first time. And the thing is that each time the idea was, at least, that each time we reach certain level, then he gets something, or something has happened on him, so his design, his appearance has changed to kind of represent his quests. So you could say that this Barbarian could be as a visual metaphor of my Instagram account, so to speak. Parawi, well, thanks for the subscription. Thank you. All right, so this was the second time I draw him. As you can see, it's a long time ago. And that's when I reached 1,000 followers. So this time he was not naked anymore. He got a little bit something to cover his genitals. And he got an axe, still with his sword of 500 followers. So yeah, that was the second time. Then the third time, that was when I reached 5,000 followers. So I decided to do something a little bit more advanced and with colors and stuff like that. So in this case, as you can see, he had a little bit more of elements on his attire. And in this case, the piece of loot or weapon, or in this case a trophy, was going to be this kind of creature demon to represent those 5,000 followers. Then I decided to do the same with 10,000, which was this horned helmet. So things haven't changed much, right? And this was the last time I did anything with the Barbarian, because basically I've been so busy that I didn't find any time to do it. And another idea, you see, for example, here he was scratched by the demon in his fight. Now he's wearing those scars, right? So that the idea is that we can see the journey that he has gone through on his quest. And since I reached 10,000 followers, which was 2 years ago, I haven't done anything with him. Like I was saying, because I've been extremely busy. So I thought, like, oh, why not to retake the idea and continue his quest? And kind of since then, I haven't done anything, meaning that it's been a very long time. I thought, like, okay, let's use this situation and build that into the narrative for the next appearance of his. So I thought that, okay, so since he has been for such a long time disappeared, it means that he got into some kind of very difficult quest, and he has been out of he literally disappeared because he has been lost in some kind of labyrinth or something of that kind. And what I want to represent with this illustration is exactly that quest that he got lost for such a long time. And that is the idea. So then, more or less, this is kind of you could say the context for the theme of the illustration. Okay, so it's very general. All right. So now, one of the most important things when you start an illustration is to think, what is the subject matter of your illustration? In this case, I know, okay, so the protagonist or the main focus has to be on the character, because once again, everything turns around the character, the barbarian. All right, so he needs to be the focal point. But since I want to represent this, to use this as a visual metaphor for the fact that he hasn't appeared in such a long time, 2 years, I want to build some type of scene that represents that he has been through very difficult times, which has been that way for myself. I've been so busy trying to build my own company, freelancing for the first time. So it's been extremely challenging and so demanding that I didn't have time to do or play anything at all with this idea. So I want to build all this narrative in a visual way with this. So subject matter, he's been lost in this quest that has been extremely challenging and has put him to the test, and he has barely made it. So that's kind of what I want to represent. He still has gone through, he has survived, he's a survivor, he's a badass. I mean, just think of Conan, right? So that's kind of the archetype of this character. And despite of all of that, he's been barely made it because of how challenging everything's been. So that is the foundation for this illustration. And I'm spending so much time about this because to explain this, because, and this is one of the main things that I talk in my course at CGMA called Narrative Illustration and Characters, and is that building and having a subject matter for your illustration is extremely, extremely, extremely important. And that's something that you need to know and be conscious about it when you start painting. Instead of just painting directly, you need to think about a subject matter. So that's why I'm spending a little bit time explaining about this. Let's recatch a little bit with the chat. Sorry, that just get with these long rants. iComics, hello, man. Kusosom, I'm currently working on my concept art skills, and I mostly like to draw creatures and generally characters. All right, nice. So it would be more directed to concept art. That is awesome. It's very fun. Akash, hey Miguel, I have a question. As a 3D character artist, it is possible to do concept art as well professionally? Yes, of course. Why not? I don't understand really that question. Why couldn't you do concept art? Kabeski, hey Miguel, I'm currently thinking of ideas for some uni work, and I would like some insight from you. Do you know of the concept of wabi sabi or wabi sabi? No, I don't know. It doesn't ring a bell. Can you expand a little bit more into that? I'm very curious now. Patrick, can you help me on fundamentals? Well, I don't know exactly what type of fundamentals. What do you mean? You guys need to elaborate a little bit more because, yeah, those are very, very general questions. Richard, the color Barbarian, you know, from our station? Yeah, I have posted there. Yes. Nice. Dislocated design, a simple but great narrative idea. Yes, I mean, well, thanks. But what I want to say with that is that normally you don't, I mean, that's something that I encounter a lot in my course with my students is like, once I ask for them to come up with a subject matter, sometimes they try to come up with very difficult and elaborated and complicated ideas. But most of the cases, the simpler it is, the better, because you don't need to go over the top with super complicated things. You just need to have something very clear. And that can be, if done properly, you can build a narrative to support that subject matter in a very, very powerful way. So normally, I think it's important to keep things simple. And that's my goal in this case. And we'll see if I manage, but yeah, we'll see. And I'm suspecting that this is gonna take me some time, but yeah, it's at the same time it's pretty fun. Richard, thank you. I think it's actually pretty cool. I like it as well, even though the name and the type of character is not very innovative. But yeah, like I said, I'm a big fan of Conan, and yeah, always barbarians are cool. So yeah. Pablo, what kind of music do I listen during I work? Well, it depends quite a lot. Many times I don't listen to anything at all. And if I listen to something, I normally try to listen something that fits the theme of the work that I'm doing. So if I'm doing some kind of monster, I will try to put some kind of soundtrack or something from a scary movie. I don't know, something of that kind. If it's something fantasy or medieval, yeah, some kind of medieval music. I mean, something that kind of reinforce the theme of what I'm working. So I kind of imbued myself into the atmosphere and energy of the work that I'm doing. All right. So once again, subject matter. This badass barbarian, he's been in his quest to find some magical thingy, I don't know, some item that is not important. The important thing is that he's been lost for 2 years in some type of maze filled with monsters, and that's been extremely challenging, and he has barely survived. So I want to show in this piece that side of the challenge that is been extremely challenging, that he barely has survived. So I was thinking, so yeah, this is kind of I had a very clear idea from the very beginning. Normally I would do many different sketches to find different types of compositions, but I had a very straightforward idea from the very beginning. So I wanted him to be very close to the camera, and kind of after defeating an enemy. So this enemy would be somewhere here on the floor, and he's barely, trying to breathe, like super tired. He's gonna be very wounded, and then is when he hears something behind, something lurking, something approaching, and something very big and dangerous. So so something is approaching from behind, and I was during these 40 minutes that I was doing this first sketch, I was experimenting with different size for this gate or cave entrance or something. But now I decided at the end that this is going to be quite a big entrance. So the scale has to be very big. So if he would be close to the gates, I don't know, I'm guessing that he would be of this height, right? So it's a pretty big gate, and then there's gonna be some kind of figure, like barely insinuated on the darkness, and we can see the eyes. So it's just like the final boss, uh, and that hopefully is the one that he will finally defeat before he get back to the world. And so he would be the maybe he's the monster, the sorcerer, the demon, or whatever that is guarding the thing that he was after, or something like that, or maybe the one that trapped him on the maze, or yeah, whatever. But you get the point. Richard, yeah, yeah, I could, yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, once again, I'm a huge fan of his work, so that would be a nice touch. Uh, or, but I mean, it's a little bit kind of Bob feels a little bit kind of meh for a barbarian. Don't you think? Uh, but yeah, I will think about it. Because I think that at the same time the barbarian feels a little bit too boring or generic. But yeah, dislocated design. Yeah, something of. I mean, this is like this classical thing, right? So it's once again, it's nothing new, innovative in that sense. So I just want to do a very nice illustration in that sense, going with that idea, and that works within the whole idea of the character and the thing with my followers growth on Instagram. I don't know how many I do have at the moment. I think it's 20 something. So I mean, from 10,000, that was the last time that he was seen, and very cocky, you know, with all his things. And then he has been lost in this maze for such a long time. So there is no more cockiness, you know, he barely made it. And this could explain maybe that huge jump in followers, because it's been a very tough and challenging grind. So yeah, so like I was saying, normally I would do many different type of composition sketches to come up with oh my goodness, don't tell me that is Photoshop has it's frozen now. Let me see. Oops, yes. Okay, I have to restart Photoshop. There you go. Okay, let me just change the the screen 1 second, and I restart Photoshop. So annoying. But yeah, so while I'm doing this, I continue explaining. So I normally do many compositional sketches. So I can come up with the best alternative for it. And that on those cases where I really don't know what I'm going for, or I have many ideas but not something very clear. In some few cases, if I'm lucky, which is the case, I have a very clear idea of what I want to do, which makes things much easier. So I just go for that idea, and I change or modify on the go with that same with that same idea. but I don't have to do big changes as I will normally do with with the composition explorations. And I start directly to work with values if I'm not working directly with colors, since I wanted to use this illustration process as well, to show each step in a more proper way. I decided to start in black and white to make it more clear. I think in this case, since I had a much clearer idea of what I wanted to do, I would normally go directly with colors, but oh my goodness, sorry guys, I'm just trying to, since I want to also record the process while I'm doing it. I need to set up different windows, and it takes a little bit of time to put it properly. And it was this, and okay, now we are ready. Let's go back. Yep, sorry about that. It's yeah. So I would normally go straight with colors, but for the sake of making a more understandable and easy to follow process, I decided to go with black and white and work with focus on the values first, or well, a basic step with values. So for those of you that might be struggling with this type of things, it's a little bit more divided and structured. Akash, can you explain a little bit about how much polish an illustration must have for the clients to approve? Well, that, I'm gonna go with my old favorite answer. It depends. Because in some cases, depending for the client and the project that you are going to be working, they have certain standard or art direction that demands certain level of polish and details. In other cases, they are completely open and free, so it's up to you. In other cases, they want something very rough. So it very depends from case to case. And you always need to adapt to the needs of the client in that sense. So it really depends. Thinking that super polished and with 100 million details everywhere, that's good, or like very high end quality, it's a very wrong way of thinking. It's normal, many cases very simple and rough or undefined styles of illustration can be much better than something super polished and detailed. Dislocated design. Yeah, that's gonna be a thing to consider. What type of monster is gonna be lurking here? Somehow, I mean, at this point, of course, I'm just starting, so I'm not discarding anything. So I'm open for anything at this point. But at the same time, I somehow I'm thinking that I would like some kind of more elaborate. How do you say? Instead of a beast, a monster, somebody, a creature that has a little bit more intelligence, that they with an agenda, you know. So going back to this prototype, sorry, prototype. My English, sorry. I sometimes you know, each time I'm starting the stream, I've been talking in Spanish the whole day or in Swedish, and just switching to with English just like this. It's sometimes it's such a struggle for me. Um, so what I was saying, yeah. So with the archetype of following of Conan, right? So it's more like a some kind of sorcerer, but could be giant or kind of a monster, but with more intelligence in that way. So not just like a mindless beast. But once again, I'm still open, so we'll see how it evolves. And I'm more than happy for all your suggestions, guys. So I didn't consider that thing with tentacles. I'm more like a Lovecraftian type of creature, and that could be actually pretty cool as well. So yeah, thanks for the suggestion. I'm gonna we'll see how it turns out. Kususon Barbarian to me is a really archetypical character. It is present almost, if not in all cultures, which is really cool. Yes. Yeah, it is subcategory of the hero archetype, but in this case, that comes like not from civilization, represent the wild side of man, something of that kind. Yeah, super appealing. I once again, I'm super fan of Conan. Richard, no, I don't think he should have gray hair yet. I'm still, yeah, not that much, but liking as much as I do scars in my characters, you can bet that after this illustration, the Barbarian Bob, as you call him, he's gonna be filled with scars everywhere. I really want to show him in here like very badly injured. Dislocated design, yeah, could be. um I once again, I mean, there is one side of me that I really want to add this, still maintain this Conan flavor. So I would like to have some kind of warrior here, but warrior that could be also some kind of creature, kind of monster. So not like an orc, but you know, like monkish type of warrior, or something of that kind. Um, maybe here, but I still don't know. I was thinking first, okay, let's continue. I'm talking and talking and I'm not doing anything. So I first was thinking about him holding the head. And then the rest of the body is laying somewhere here. But at the same time, I'm thinking that if he just defeated the another other type of elements that I'm thinking is like, okay, how can I show the fact that he's at his limit, right? So I was thinking, okay, so he has his sword, his 500 followers magic sword, it's broken. So he's been fighting for a while now with his broken sword. And then I was thinking to have like some kind of shield, like a round shield, but it's completely destroyed. He's still holding it, but it's kind of breaking apart. Because that would be a very nice element to kind of underline the toughness of the fight that he has been through. So that this warrior or monster that he just slain completely destroyed the shield. But again, I'm just thinking for alternatives and what could work from a narrative point of view, but also that looks cool. Also, I was thinking maybe instead of all of that, there is a big head lane, so he still could have like the shield that is broken, the head here, and then the rest of the body. That could be cool as well. Akash, thanks a lot. Much appreciated and my pleasure. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, you are more than welcome to ask things. I don't know if you guys follow me on other social media. I don't know. But aside from other reasons, but one of the main reasons why I decided to start streaming was because I'm getting bombarded on social media, especially on Instagram, but also on Facebook with personal, direct messages with all type of questions. And I feel terrible because I cannot answer to everything. And many, especially on Facebook, since some of them are just like requests for messages, I don't even see them. So I am aware that I'm missing a lot of messages, and it's nothing personal. It's just that I don't have the time to answer everything, and sometimes it requires very long answers and stuff like that. So I thought that having a stream would be the perfect solution for that, because you can ask me as much as you want. It's one-to-one, and I have several hours to go in detail with any type of questions and explanations and everything. So you are more than welcome to ask stuff. So dislocated design and ogre sorcerer, yes. You see, I kind of like more something in that way, but still I also like this kind of tentacle monster thingy. So yeah, let's see. Richard, yeah, it could be a witch, but the thing is that I really want to play with the sense of scale and and using the scale and size also as a visual metaphor for the scale of the challenge, right? So if our um, barbarian staying close to the gate would be of this size, and I want this figure to be huge, kind of the witch cannot be anymore. But for a later depiction of him, yes, witches are I think is a must. Dislocated design, yeah, they were friends, yes. I guess that's why I like their work a lot. I'm a huge fan of Howard. I'm a huge fan of Lovecraft. Yeah, you definitely can see notice when you read their stuff as certain similarities and cross pollination of ideas. I mean, he needs to be injured, but not seriously injured in that way, because I mean, my idea is to continue using this character for a long journey, right? So if I start to mutilate him so much, then yeah, it's gonna make things a little bit tougher. So for now, not mutilation of him yet, but still like lots of scars and wounds. Um, and I keep talking and talking and talking and but doing little work. So I was thinking that he is perhaps on some kind of water. And I have a very, for example, you cannot, of course, you cannot see that yet here, but I have a very strong idea for colors. So I want to use a lot of red because I want this scene to be some kind of on some sort of dungeon. So I want to use a lot of green and red. So all this light is mainly gonna be red, or well, that's how I'm envisioning it on my head. We'll see how it plays, and it might change, but that's at least how I'm envisioning it at the moment. Also, I'm thinking that an important element of to set the scale is going to be adding some staircase. So they are small around here to kind of help to understand the scale, and that is far from where our hero is. Dislocated design. You don't do Facebook, no social media for me, just YouTube. Good for you, man. If I'm honest, I do hate it. I There are certain things that I like and I see a benefit from it. For example, on Instagram, following other artists that I admired and I really enjoy, and it's fantastic to be able to follow their work and what they show. So I really enjoy that. And Facebook just for keeping in touch with family and friends back in Spain and things like that. Otherwise, I have to use it for work as uh, a gallery exposure type of thing, since I'm a freelancer. And in one way, it's fantastic because it allows you to, I mean, it gives a lot of benefits as a freelancer. At the same time, I hate it because I feel enslaved somehow, and I don't like it. I don't like to be on having to use it, even though I understand its benefits. But I also see all the the bad things of it, and I hate to for I don't know. I might sound like an old fart here. I don't know, but when I'm out with my dog, with Bilbo, on the streets, and I see so many zombies walking on the street with the phone, like beep, 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 it's just I cannot stand it, and I know it's because of social media. Cantabrian, some kind of cyclop. Yeah, that could be cool. Um, that's a very cool idea, actually. Some kind of meta, even more. Cyclopean eye could represent audience attention. It's actually a pretty neat idea. Huh. Yeah, Kusason, some kind of demon thing. The problem I see with the Cyclop is that one eye might not be enough to suggest, but having two eyes is like so ominous already. I mean, you don't need to. I mean, from a readability point of view, it makes the scene more easier to read. But of course, I mean, and I'm just thinking out loud at the moment, and it's super early stage, and of course, it could be suggested and make obvious that is a some kind of cyclop type of creature. So it's not that it's impossible for sure. Yeah, a mirror could be a cool idea, but I don't. Uh, at the same time, I want to keep it simple. In terms um, of the scene and how to read it. So I don't want to overcomplicate myself with some elements that, I mean, in this way everything is super straightforward, right? So it's just our barbarian, and he's gonna confront uh, an enemy, a monster that is very, very, very big. If I start with a reflection of himself and everything, it's and I kind of lose already this idea for the composition, because he wouldn't be able to reflect himself on the mirror from this angle. And yeah, so I'm not just rejecting the idea for being a bad idea. It's just that I don't see it uh, for this for this piece. Oops. Dislocated design. Yeah, I mean, Facebook for me is the plague in that sense. It's just to keep in touch with friends and people. You know that it's yeah, to keep in touch. Aside from that, um, and like I said, to work and exposure. But if it wasn't because of work, Facebook is a time sink, at least in my opinion. That I don't see the point. It's yeah, I don't like it. On the other hand, Instagram, I like it more because it's more, at least for me, focus on art, and I see art of people that I like, so it's more rewarding in that sense. I take a lot of value out of it in that sense. But yeah, the danger of Facebook, of this scroll of doom, that you start scrolling and you don't stop, and you end up just like, what? Why the fuck? I spent such a long time wasting my time looking at things that I don't care. At the moment, here with the I'm trying to make sense of the space, so that's kind of what I'm trying to envision. Also, another aspect that I have very clear in my mind is that since I want to focus the attention on mainly on our character, on the barbarian, I want to keep all the space and environment very loose and undefined. To kind of play with this recreating this kind of visual illusion, as if we were kind of using camera lenses, right? And we are focusing on him, so the rest will be unfocused and blurry. Kusosum, have you ever worked on films? Yes, I have. Yeah, this idea with the attention or the eye of social media, I like it. So I think it's definitely worth it to explore once we jumped into designing the creature that is going to be there. I think it's definitely worth trying to explore that possibility. I think it's very neat. Thank you guys. I wouldn't have thought about it. So yes, much appreciated. Yeah, also could be some kind of reptilian as well. Maybe that's kind of the monster here, or warrior, like the lizard man. And another aspect, another thing to consider, for instance, could be the the size of the character. So in one way, now I'm thinking using composition with the narrative of the piece, right? So everything is about the challenge. So that's why initially I thought about putting the creature higher and bigger over him. So it creates this, well, kind of subtle feel that this is a challenge because he's bigger, right? At the same time, another option, but then of course it changed slightly the visual narrative of the piece, is perhaps if we make our character bigger, not because he's taller, but because it's closer to the camera, and he's looking to the beast or whatever, still could be a challenge, but he's on top because he's looking down from our perspective. So it could be interesting. But you know what? I think, once again, from the narrative point of view of things, since I want to underline the challenge of the situation, I think it makes more sense just to keep him down, so we get this sense of the challenge. Perhaps another thing that we could do, I'm just thinking now, is to tilt the whole composition in this way. So it feels even a little bit more menacing. Of course, I'm talking in very subtle, on a very subtle level, but because it's just leaning towards it's leaning towards the hero. It's not sure. Let me try again. Because at the moment it's a little bit it's already slightly tilt. This would be horizontal, but by turning it a little bit more this way, so all these type of things is what I try to work with at this stage, working with the composition, working with the basic elements and how to distribute them, how to locate them, and how to make them interact with each other to build the composition of the piece, always with this narrative uh, um, intent. So I'm not just trying to to create a good looking picture visually speaking, but also at the same time ones that speak narratively about the subject matter. So that is a very important thing to do. Don't build your images just for the sake of looking good, but to tell something with them, even if it's a very simple story or idea or mood or anything, but just something. I'm still, I don't know. But it's kind of cool. Hey Luis, welcome. How are you doing, my man? Happy Easter to you, man. Uh, Cantabrian, yeah, the Dutch angle, exactly. Yes. Which I haven't used just for the sake of looking good or dynamic or anything, but because by using the Dutch angle, you normally, in a very subtle way, of course, depending on how you use it and to what degree, but always it increases a little bit a feeling of uneasiness of something is wrong. And since the once again the subject matter for this illustration is the challenge, the difficulty, that the stress that the character is going through, I decided that okay, Dutch angle is a good thing to do, even though it is very subtle. As you can see, it's very subtle. Um, but I originally did it in this other direction, but it kind of, even though I'm not decided, but kind of it's growing on me, this opposite direction. But wait, yeah, no, that was because this is now he's horizontal, and now we are applying the Dutch angle. I still want it to be very subtle. I think I just created once again. Now it's horizontal once again. Let's see. Kusasom, you just realized it's a big door way far away? Yes, yes, yes. That's what it is. I don't know. Well, for now, I'm still not decided yet. That's something that I can um, change and fix very easily. So I will, since I'm not sure yet. I will continue with this, and we can see later. Luis, thanks, man. No, this is not 40K related. So let me give you a recap of. So this is a new illustration for a character of mine, which is just very unoriginal. Is the typical type of fantasy barbarian. Think of Conan, right? So it's a character that I designed or that I decided to use when I started on Instagram to kind of every time that I reached certain number of followers, I would do an illustration with this character and kind of visualizing on him that number of followers. Let me just see if I can show you. I need to change screen 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Blame it on Luis, all right? Let's see. So this is the first time I draw him, and it was when I got 500 followers. So he was naked totally, and he got this sword. Then when I got 1,000 followers, then he got a little bit more of clothing and an axe. So he's kind of progressing, upgrading. Then he got, when I got 5,000 followers, then I decided to do him in color and with a little bit more fancy clothing and equipment and stuff like that. Then when I reach 10,000, and as you can see, he's keeping the same things, scars from before. And since then, I haven't done anything about him. And this was like 2 years ago because I've been so extremely busy. So I decided to do an illustration with him kind of explaining why he has disappeared. And it's because he's been trapped in some kind of maze or labyrinth in a quest to get something. And he barely made it. It's because it's been so challenging, kind of representing how challenging things have been for me. with work and so much stress and stuff like that. So that's kind of the idea. So he's here as you see, if you remember from the classes, the subject matter for this piece is the character, the hero, the barbarian. He's been on this quest that is pushing him to his very, very limit. He's almost not surviving. And once that he has defeated an enemy that he is here, he just listens or hears something behind him, and it's going to be like the ultimate enemy of in this quest, which is going to push him to the even higher limits. So yeah, it's the challenge. It's the fact that everything, he's still ready to fight. He's still there, but the odds are very much against him. Of course, he is the hero, so he will surpass it, but he's on the very, very, very brink of failing. So, subject matter, the tension and fear before the ultimate challenge, and after a very, very long, arduous path, kind of. Dislocated design, yeah, the angle tilt, yeah. So that's the main purpose of the Dutch angle, to add that kind of eerie tension feel to it, that things are not normal. Hey Peter, hello, welcome to the stream. Stud Muffin, hello. How are you? Welcome to the stream. If I'm in Twitch, yes, I'm in Twitch, and I'm actually streaming at the same time on YouTube, where you are, but I'm also streaming on Twitch at the same time, so you can choose whatever you prefer. So if you prefer to watch the stream on Twitch, you can jump there, and yeah. So my channel on Twitch is Iglesias dash. No, sorry. That is Iglesias Miguel. That's my Twitch. Kusasam, do you post everything you finished or just the ones you like? Well, I normally just post the ones I like, for the most part. Yes. Mr. Wong. All right. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to Twitch then. So yeah, I post most of the time just the things that I like. I mean, I need to be conscious of what I post, in the sense that my social media, at the end of the day, is part of my work, in the sense that I get exposure and potentially get new clients by the work that I post on internet. So I cannot just post anything sadly in one way, because I think it's also important to show things that are not as good as you like. I think it's important to show that not everything is good, one could say. I mean, most of the things that I do, I think they are crap. All right. And I do a lot of things that are not so presentable for work, because it's more about work and it's not, it's something, yeah. Concept art is a little bit different than illustration. So it's not all the time about doing very good looking things, but just that work and about design. I mean, this is a subject that we've been talking about in some previous streams, where sometimes people get a wrong impression of the type of work that is done for concept art, because most of the published concept art from films or from video games is normally done is more like fake concept art, because it's done more for marketing purposes, or it has been retouched to be more finished and polished for marketing purposes, or are the few things that are more nicely looking and presentable. I would say 70% of concept art is more practical and more to the point of making the design to work, because you might have very little time. So it's rough sketches, for instance. There's a lot of that. So yeah. So by not posting things that are a little bit more rough or not so good, it tend to kind of establish this wrong vision of that concept art is always like looking nice, and it's not it's a little bit misleading. That doesn't mean, of course, that when you do concept art that you are not trying to do things to look good and presentable, but sometimes, once again, they are going to be very sketchy and not so polished. And like always, I start to talk into these rants, and sorry. So to your question, I tend to just post the things that I like, or even if I don't like them, but I think they are, if I don't like them personally, but I think they are good enough for work. It's gonna be funny next week when I'm streaming from the living room, and it's gonna be filled with boxes everywhere. Probably Bilbo will be with me, since he's gonna be with me. I'm gonna be living in one room for several weeks. So yeah, that's gonna be challenging. Mr. Wong, yeah, man, I actually would love to stream more because it's very fun, but um, I don't have time. It's I'm already um, doing a how could you say some sacrifices to stream on Saturdays. But yeah, because I don't, I'm so busy. You have no idea. So if it's not now, I remember what I was planning when to stream, and there is not a single moment in the week that could work aside from now evening where I live and the Saturday. But if it wasn't the case that I was so busy, I would definitely do because I have a lot of fun. So I love talking to you guys. So yeah, sadly, it cannot be. I have too much work, client work. Luis, no problem, man. And thank you. If I think to show slightly the threat that challenged the barbarian, yes, yeah. So my idea, we were talking before. Everybody has been contributing with a lot of very cool ideas for what could be lurking in the shadows here. But yeah, there should be something here. But we still don't know exactly what that's gonna be. Sieben Sunden, thanks for the follow and welcome to the stream. Mr. Wong, bye bye. Thanks for joining in and have a good one. Bye bye. Kyukosum, thanks, man. Well, yeah, on Instagram, yeah, I've been normally I try to post once every day, so it's a meat grinder. But yeah, I mean, thankfully, I've been working for many years now, so I have a lot of work that I can show. But at the same time, I have to repost a lot as well because yeah, if I need to post once every day, yeah, there is, yeah. That's one of the things that I hate about social media. The fact of how it's designed and the algorithms and how they it's just they enslave you in one way or another. Aha, Richard. All right, that's you. Okay. Just a question. Do you guys prefer YouTube or Twitch for looking at streams? The thing is that um, why I tend to dislike to use Twitch is because it's almost impossible to grow on Twitch. Um, there is absolutely no discoverability tools or anything, and all these affiliate programs are completely bullshit, and they take so much. I mean, I cannot monetize, but even if I would want to, they take so much, such a portion of the money that they. I mean, it's insane how bad it is in that sense on Twitch. So that's why I refuse to sign all these affiliated stuff contracts with Twitch. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay, so even as a viewer, YouTube is better. Yeah. I'm wondering how long it's gonna take for Twitch really to disappear at these rates, because they are doing things pretty wrong. The thing with Twitch, as I see it myself, is that with no discoverability tools for content creator, for streamers, the streamers that are big get bigger and bigger, and the rest stay exactly the same with almost no viewers at all. So it increased the gap. So I read once that it's more or less like 0.5 of streams are over 50 viewers or something like that. The rest is under or even less. So it's insane, and there are millions of streamers on Twitch. So think about that, how insane that is in terms of percentage. No, I think it was 15 viewers. So 99.5% of streamers on Twitch are 15 or less viewers have. It is insane. And that gap increase and increase because there's no way for streamers on Twitch to grow at this point. While on YouTube is different. And then, like you guys are saying, the thing with the with the ads and stuff like that. Yeah, that is not good. Then this thing with the affiliate thing that I was talking about, if you sign that affiliate contract, by contract, you cannot stream in any other platform than Twitch, which is insane. So if you are somebody that is starting streaming, and what you are looking for is exactly exposure and to being discovered, you are shooting on your own foot by just doing that on Twitch. Even Facebook is better for that. Richard, thanks, thanks, man. The funny thing, I'm just getting stuck into working with this when I shouldn't be focusing on that. Actually, should be thinking more about marginal things with that I haven't decided yet, like with the character. But yeah, and the thing with Twitch as well, in terms with the percentage of all the people that monetized and get something through donations and ads and stuff like that. I can't remember what is the percentage of money that Twitch takes, but it's insane. It's like a pimp, really. It just is ridiculous. It was a while when I checked that up, so I can't remember at the moment, but it's just insane. When the rest of platforms, they take a way less percentage of that money. Just thinking that maybe here there are some type of statues or something. Or some kind of totems, or again, I need to be careful not adding too many details and elements that distract the attention from those points that are relevant for the image. We see each him, and after him the creature there. Let's see. Some kind of head. And it would be nice if it's kind of big, so it's not just a normal dude. But again, another type of ogre or something. And I need to put the body. Richard, or well, I should just for how should I do that? Okay, since you are using this, I'm gonna call you with your Twitch name, Sieben. If I do like the 2011 Conan Barbarian with Jason Momoa, all right, let me let's play a game here. Let's see if this work and we are on the same page. I feel we are gonna connect here, but we'll see. I told you that I'm a huge fan of Conan and the original work of Howard. So what do you think? Just by saying that, what would be your guess? Do you think I liked it or not? Let's see. No, and Steven, it's fine. Don't worry. Just do as you please. It's just I was thinking in terms of clarity for the rest of people, so they understand that I'm answering to you. Come on, what is your guess? I mean, it's simple. It's yes or no, or well, I mean, just let's put it that way. Yes or no? What do you think? I feel very strongly about this. All right, even though it's still a very very long time since I saw it. Okay, Peter, say yes. Come on, Simon. You have to guess. Do you think that I liked it or not? Akash, just a request. If it's not a problem, will you work on a character barbarian for a little while? You mean on him? I don't. Yeah, not yet, because at this point, um, it's working exactly as I want, and I still need to define other important elements on the piece before I can move on, starting to define, in this case, the character. And I will put a lot of time and effort into the character because it's the focal point. So that is coming, but not yet. Not for today, at least. Because for example, I need to see how to place this other character on the floor in a pose that works. So it's I still need to like as I'm saying, decide and other important elements on the image that are still not there. So yeah, sorry. All right. Peter, said that I did like it, and Sieben say I don't like it. Well, Sieben, you are right. Yeah. I hate it so much. It's not that I don't like it, I hate it. It's absolute garbage. It's so bad in so many levels. I mean, first off, this Jason Momoa, I don't know, people seems to love him. I think he's an absolutely terrible actor. I think he's very, very bad. He looks very nice. He looks gorgeous, very strong, all of that. But as an actor, I think he's horrible. So if we go into like, let's put our like nerd things, like, on the book, whatever, Conan says this, and in this film. So from this point of view, like a true fan of the character and everything, they just did, I mean, it's such a misrepresentation of the world and the characters, and they just make a mismatch of things. It's terrible. It's very, very, very bad. Then, if we just jump into the cinematography of it, I mean the script, the even special effects, the everything, the camera work is so bad. It's just like so bad. Is yeah. I mean, I remember at some points I couldn't believe it's like, are they doing this for real, or is just, I mean, I hate it. I mean, it's the worst Conan possible, in my opinion. I mean, to me, for example, the work that that Arnold did on the first Conan film on the 80s is perfect in that sense. Is a perfect adaptation and of the stories of Conan, condensed in this little film. the work that that Arnold did with the character is, I think, is fantastic. He really looks like a barbarian, a rude, uncivilized barbarian. And the yeah, and so yes, that film is a crime. It's very bad. I like. How about you? Have you seen it? I would love to hear your own take, because maybe you love it. I don't know. Yeah, Peter. Yeah, the first Conan movie I think is brilliant. Uh, it might has aged a little bit old in certain stylistic aspects from a cinematography point of view, but still overall as a film I think is brilliant, and as an adaptation of the world of Conan, and the stories and type of characters, and him as a character, I think is fantastic. The other films is another story, right? But the very first one, yeah. Luis, you haven't seen the Jason Momoa version? Well, good for you. It is laughable, really. I mean, it's so bad. And the thing is, I cannot remember details, because yeah, like it's been 10 years now. But I just have the memory of certain scenes that were so ridiculous, is that it didn't make any sense. I mean, just so silly. And by the way, talking about this, the first Conan film with Arnold, the music, the soundtrack, oh my goodness, how epic is that? I mean, I love it. Who was it that asked me music that I like to listen when I'm working? If I wasn't streaming while working on this, now you know what music I will be playing while working on this. The soundtrack of that film. Yes. Lucy's, but you must like it more than the ultimate animation. Well, yes, I mean, anybody can. Of course, that's a given. the, the ultimate animation film is one of the worst things ever done in human history. It's like, it's so bad. But to be honest, parts of this Conan film are on that level of bad. Seven. Oh yes, yes, and yes, that's also true that it was shot on in Spain, and of course that's a plus. Okay, Lucius. Yeah, then you are gonna be for a treat with that film. I think the best way to look at that film is just is a comedy. Drinking, with some friends and just to have a good laugh, because it's very, very bad. And so misrepresenting the character of Conan. I mean, this just, yeah, very bad. Bad, 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 bad. Sieben, Solomon Kane is that, who is that? Ah, yeah, that's the witch hunter. I never read any of those. I have read only Conan stories and King, how is it called? Kull, King Kull of the Atlantis timeline, but nothing of Solomon Kane. Peter, yes, totally. Yeah, there are. Is yeah, like we were talking before, that Lovecraft and Howard were friends, and they were helping each other, giving ideas, and yeah, so you can see the influence of that. You know, Sieben, I don't, I kind of, I'm not sure if I agree in terms of the first film that is not Howard. I mean, because many of the stories from Conan, in many cases, everything goes around a wizard. So there is a lot of sorcery in some of those stories, and I think in the first film they put a lot of, they spend many minutes of footage to go in depth in showing Conan as a absolute brute. You know, when he's Conan, what is best in life? You know this scene, right? Just show him as an absolutely, almost as an animal, a beast, kind of going into this idea from Howard that he's a barbarian. There is nothing related to the how's it called, civilizations. He's the opposite. So I think they spend a lot of footage just to represent those aspects from the original stories, which I think is great. Of course, it's an adaptation, right? So it cannot be exactly as the films, but I still think it's pretty faithful to some degree to the original stories. And yes, the second ones are a parody, totally. Yeah. That's why I said before that, yeah, the other ones is just another thing. Sieben, yes, of course. I remember about Alfonso X el Sabio, yes. Ah, really? Uh-huh. I had no idea. I will check that up. Uh, Wow, that is awesome. I will check that up and see if I can connect um, to the piece on the soundtrack. Um, Sieben, yeah. I mean, yes, yes. I mean, Conan is what it is. He's a yes, but still, I mean, the thing with the sorcery, I mean, it's kind of one of those uh, stereotypical nemesis of in Conan stories is always a wizard that is in a tower somewhere. But yeah, so that's what I mean, that the first film kind of managed to condense all those different elements very well, because on the first film you see him as a as a tribeman, well, or child. Then he's sold as a slave. He's a pit fighter or gladiator. Then he's used as a mercenary. Uh, he becomes a thief. Um, so there is a little bit of everything, right? But they managed to condense it in a very nice way in a single storyline. Of course, once again, it's an adaptation and everything, but still, I think it's is very faithful to the original work. And I'm here just um, struggling with how to present this dead character. Because in one way I want it to be visible, but I don't want it to take too much space as well. So I need to find that perspective and or angle and pose that kind of serve the purpose, but is not super obvious. The song is the soundtrack is called The Tower of Set. All right, I think I remember which one is that one, but I will. I mean, of course, I don't have a memory of the the cantiga that you are referring to, but I'm definitely gonna check that up because I think it's such an the things that you keep learning, man. I love this, and yeah, thanks a lot. It's such a awesome thing to learn. Wow. If I was a huge fan of the soundtrack, now I'm even more. Oh, by the way, I just remember. Now that we are talking about these things, I just remember of the SCP Foundation that we talked several streams before. I just discovered a second short film based on SCP Foundation, which is amazing as well. It's let me see if I can find the name. Okay, the one that I mentioned the first time, which is very, very, very good, is called SCP Overlord. And the other one that is very good as well that I just discovered recently is called Doll House. SCP Doll House. Like this. Beep. Very good production quality, both of them, and nailing the SCP Foundation vibes. Awesome. Is the ones that I that is about how they call the operators teams from Foundation. So it's like the kind of armed soldiers that they use to go into some weird events to explore and check what is happening. Fantastic. So remember, SCP Overlord and SCP Doll House. Luis, yes. What about that film? I remember I read about this supposed new film with Arnold, Conan King. At least if my memory is not faulty, like at least 6 years ago. And I don't know what has happened with it, but that would be great. That would be super nice to see. I would love that. But yeah, going back to Jason Momoa, he's such a bad actor. Do you guys like him as an actor? I mean, I think I only have liked him once, and it was in Game of Thrones. I think he, which is very telling because of the type of character that barely speaks and do anything else than just looking brutish. That's the only role that I think he did a good job. The rest, I think he's terrible actor, very bad. Seven, yeah, of course. I thank you because I didn't know about it, and you just told me, and yeah, it wasn't because of you, yeah, I would not know. So now I know. Thank you. Oh, really? Uh, the last church. Okay, I will. I didn't know about that, so thank you once again. You know, the stream is gonna be coming that. Oh, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. No, thank to you. No, thank you. uh, but yeah, I will definitely gonna check that. The new church. Awesome. Um, nay, 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 nay. Mm. Luis, yes. Cantabrian, you think so? Huh. Mm, uh, I not for me. I don't see him so much as Angron. But of course, very personal. But no, I don't see him so much. I definitely could see him as some random space marine if he keeps quiet and don't say anything. So he can make a lot of stun acting. For that, he's good. But yeah, I mean, he just has the looks. But that's it, in my humble opinion. I mean, after that Conan film, oh my goodness, he's so bad. Steven, you don't care about Game of Thrones? How is that? Well, to be honest, okay, let me just, before you answer, I have to say, I'm a huge fan of the books. I knew about the books for many years, but I didn't get the chance to read them. Then the first season of Game of Thrones came, which I saw, I liked, and said, okay, now it's time to read the books. So I decided that I was not going to watch any of the seasons and until I finished the books, which I did. So it's 5 books, and then I watched the seasons until it just went farther than the books. So I decided just to stop watching. And which I don't know what is the season. Yeah, so I don't know. And since then I haven't checked the TV series at all because I refuse to watch them before reading the books, because the books, and I'm so happy that I did, because the books are absolutely brilliant. Some of the best um, fantasy books that I have ever read. They are amazing, so good. And at least for the seasons that I saw, following the adaptations of the books, I thought they were brilliant, in the sense that they were actually brilliant adaptations. But again, after they surpassed the books, I haven't seen, so I don't know. But I think the books are absolutely brilliant. So why are you don't care about Game of Thrones? By the way, we are soon gonna be done with the stream. It is already kind of late, and tomorrow I need a lot of work at home with the renovation. So Cantabrian. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not discarding him, as he could look good as Angron. I just that I cannot see it right now in my head. I will need to look at him a little bit closely and see, but I think he has too much of a pretty face, if you see what I mean. I see Angron as more brutish, more ugly looking. I mean, talking about this, about ugly or not ugly, this is one of the things that kind of turned me off so much in general with American TV series. In general, I mean, it's not always the case, but it tends to be a very common trend. And it's that everybody's like a damn model. Everybody's beautiful. All the women are beautiful. All the men are beautiful. It feels like it doesn't feel real. It kind of just break the immersion for me. I really hate it. Uh, I mean, please put some normal people. I'm not just saying just plain ugly. Of course, there should be also ugly people, but I mean, just normal looking people. I mean, I think that's such a big problem with American industry in that sense, is that it feels like if you want to work as an actor, you need to be looking good. But then the stories are ridiculous because everybody looks like models. I don't know. That's one of the things why I appreciate so much in European series, is that you actually see normal people. I mean, yeah, of course you have your how to say it, your percentage of good looking actors and actresses, but also you have normal looking people, and even many series are starred by actors and actresses that are not actually that good looking. but that makes more real to me. I don't know. Am I weird? What do you think, guys? Yeah, I see what you mean with the soap opera. Um, but again, the I think how many seasons there is of Game of Thrones. I think I just have seen half because they went so far ahead of the books. So it might have turned that way, but at least what I have read, I didn't thought it was. I think they are brilliant, very, very, very good. Uh, yeah, Nacho Vidal. Yeah, yeah, maybe actually. Yeah, Cantabrian. Yeah, very true. A catch. All right, right. I mean, and another funny thing to me, I don't know. Sorry if, of course, I'm generalizing, but another thing that is so ridiculous to me is with these American series, everybody's looking not just good looking, but so fit, ripped. You know, everybody just with. And I'm sorry, but every time I've been to the US, I don't know, but most of the people that I have seen, they are overweight. So I feel that is such a misrepresentation, and so I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just boring. Of course, I see the appeal of having good looking people on screen. Of course, I can enjoy that side of things, but to a certain degree, when everybody's just good looking, it makes everything so boring and unreal. I mean, it doesn't make me buy the story or the fiction that they are trying to sell me. Unless there is a very good reason for everybody to be looking good. But if it's just because they don't have any other people to choose from, it doesn't. Yeah. Peter, are they? I didn't know. Okay. But for example, in Game of Thrones, like there are quite a bunch of important characters that they are not good looking. They look pretty normal. Uh, yeah, Peter. Yeah, British Texas. I mean, it's actually pretty scary. The times that I've been to the US, of course, there's a lot of people that are not fat or overweight, but the general impression is that most of the people are overweight, and I don't mean just like fat, like a meatball, but just overweight, just shabby. I mean, not just each to their own, but just like in terms of once again of building some certain realism into the fictions of the TV series. It just yeah, it doesn't work for me at least. Good night, Cantabrian. Thanks for joining in. Have a good one, man. Yeah, I think I'm done as well for tonight. All right. So well, I've been struggling with this character here. I will have to continue trying to come up with something. So yeah. Next week will be the same time. Hopefully everything works as it should be, since like I said, I will be living in a single room in my apartment and having to move everything to another room and see. So hopefully everything works. So yeah, once again, guys, been awesome today. I had a lot of fun. And we will continue with this illustration. Let's see if I have any time to continue out of the stream, just to push things farther and to advance a little bit faster, because if I use only the streams to work on this, it's going to take ages. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. Sieben, thanks a lot for all the tips. I will check that thing with the music and with the 40K animated short. Thanks a lot for all the ideas, the contributions for the name for the Tech Priest, and all your ideas for this illustration. It's very, very much appreciated. And yeah, see you next time. Have a good one. Stay safe. Have fun during the rest of the weekend. And bye-bye. Take care, guys.